Hi, I'm Dr. Roland Trepp. I'd like to introduce you to my friend Ling Ling here. Ling Ling is a Hannah dog, and he's a puppy that's going to be going to one of our members. But he's a neonite. He doesn't, neophyte, I should say. He doesn't really know what's going on. He's just learning about life, and he's a little nervous about things. So one of the things we want to do is have him experience what we call the puppy socialization checklist. That's really our topic for today. So I put together a list of things for you to try to expose the dog to when it's a youngster like this. Now what's interesting is, in the canine species, they have brain development periods that are very well understood. For example, this dog between 4 weeks and 12 weeks, so in months, between 1 month and 3 months of age. During that time, which this dog is in the middle of, that's the very best time for this dog to learn a whole bunch of things. One of which is bite inhibition. We'll cover that in a different topic. Today we're talking about just socialization. Now, socialization initially meant two sentient beings, like a dog and a cat, a dog and a person, dog and a chicken, and so on. That's really what socialization technically means. We're going to expand that definition here and have socialization mean including objects. Now, the reason for this is that during this brain development period, between 1 month and 3 months, we want to get as much of this exposure in as possible. If we can't get it between 1 and 3, the very next best time is between 3 months and 6 months. After that, just as soon as we can get it done. The longer we wait, the more difficult it is for the brain to accept new things. At this age, imagine if you had a funnel on top of this little dog's head. There's a funnel open like this, and we're just pouring these new experiences in, and this little dog is just taking it all in and saying, that's how life is, and they just accept it. When they get to about 6 months, the funnel turns upside down. Now it looks like this, and we're trying to fit stuff in that little part of the funnel to be able to fit it into this brain, because now the dog thinks it understands how life is. So this is really the essence of the socialization period, is that nature says, dog, between 1 month and maybe 4 or 5 months, you're supposed to learn how life is, and everything you learn after that is going to be just secondary because you'll already know it all. When dogs get to be about 6 months of age, they get their adult teeth, and they also get hormones. So I like to say they get attitude and weapons at the same time, and it gets more and more difficult after that. So this golden period in dogs is between 1 month and 3 months. The second best time is between 3 and 6 months. Okay, so the socialization checklist means that every possible experience that you can manufacture that the dog is going to experience during the rest of its life, we want to have it experience it now under controlled situations. If the dog is too protected, too isolated, like this, then what happens is it doesn't experience all those things, and as a result, later on in life, it just acts frightened, it may be aggressive, it may be other problems. Okay, so what is in the socialization checklist? First, there are other beings. We want the puppy to meet cats and other dogs of different sizes and shapes and so forth, as many people as possible. We want them to meet human beings below puberty and above puberty, male and female. There's a quadrant. We want the puppy to meet as many of those people as possible, and not just meet them, but receive a cookie from them, to be held and hugged by them. Those are all things we want them to experience. And then objects. Things like the vacuum cleaner, things like the dishwasher, the mailbox when you walk down the street, trucks going by. All of these things, to the right age puppy, usually they just kind of go like that, like no big deal. So don't expect to see a lot of reaction from the puppy when you are socializing them. It's because the brain is just taking it in. That's how life is, that's how life is. So, for example, sometimes when you're a dog, people do weird stuff, like they put you in this big porcelain area and put water all over you and then suds you up and then rinse you off and dry you with towels. That's weird stuff for a dog, but if it happens during this period, they just take it in and say, oh, that's how life is, that's what people do. So that's the mindset that we want to encourage you to do, is have this little puppy experience as many different things as possible, as many of those things on the checklist as possible. Now, if the puppy acts frightened toward it, and if the puppy acts frightened towards a lot of things, don't fall into the trap of saying, oh, then I better protect him and keep him away from those things. It's just going to make it worse. If the puppy is frightened by a lot of things, it says that the genetic code of this individual means they're just very scared. Their tendency towards fear is high. They need it more. The key is to not do it all at once. Do it in baby steps. Use distance to separate. So let's pretend you're out walking and someone mails a letter and they clang the mailbox and it frightens frightened as the dog. Let's just say that as an example. What you want to do is go closer to the mailbox. You act happy and relaxed. Oh, look, it's a mailbox. Isn't that fun? And you, out of the corner of your eye, watching the dog, and if they're still frightened, then you stay back. Give cookies. Do things where you're at the same distance from that mailbox or from that whatever it is. Then as they finally relax, and you can tell because they're accepting food and acting more relaxed, then you move a little closer. But you focus on being friendly and happy toward the mailbox, and then the dog is following your lead. That's the idea. Plus you're using food treats and so forth. So in this way we can gradually desensitize the dog to many different things in its life. Once it accepts the mailbox and the vacuum cleaner and someone on skateboard and wheelchair and walkers, all these things are at first, well, they're scary to a dog who's never seen it before. If they grew up from the time they were a puppy and seeing it once or twice at least, then it's no big deal. So the idea behind the socialization checklist is to give you examples. Don't feel limited by the list. Use others. Just get the dog around as many things as possible, but do it in a controlled fashion where they're not panicking. If they start to panic, that's when you back up and go in baby steps. Otherwise, just get them out, hand them to a lot of people, hand them off and say, here, meet my puppy, hold him, and have them give a cookie. As many positive social experiences as we can invest in this little thing when we're young, that's going to make him the very best possible dog. And what we want are really excellent Hannah dogs. When you grow up, you are going to be a Hannah dog and an excellent, excellent dog, aren't you? Yeah, he says yes. All right, if you have any more questions, come and visit us at hannahsociety.com. Thank you.